It was a moonless night, the kind that blankets the world in a thick, impenetrable darkness. I found myself on a desolate stretch of highway, surrounded by an endless expanse of twisted trees and looming shadows. My name is Alex, and this is the chilling tale of the wrong turn that led me into a nightmarish labyrinth. The journey had begun innocently enough. I was driving home after a long day at work, my headlights cutting through the inky blackness of the night. The road seemed endless, stretching out before me like a ribbon of asphalt. As the minutes turned into hours, fatigue began to creep in, and my eyelids grew heavy. That's when I saw it. A sign that seemed to materialize out of nowhere, indicating a turnoff up ahead. It was a road I'd never noticed before, and my GPS remained oddly silent. With a sense of unease, I veered onto the unfamiliar road, the gravel crunching beneath my tires. The air grew colder, and a shiver ran down my spine as the landscape transformed around me. The trees, once standing tall and proud, now seemed to hunch over, their gnarled branches clawing at the night sky. The road ahead twisted and turned like a serpent, leading me deeper into this forsaken forest. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the eerie rustling of leaves in the wind. The darkness was so thick that I couldn't see more than a few feet ahead. My sense of direction blurred, and I couldn't tell if I was moving forward or in circles. Panic gnawed at the edges of my mind as I realized that I was hopelessly lost. I tried to turn back, but the road had vanished, swallowed by the sinister woods. Desperation clawed at my chest, and I drove on, my heart pounding in my ears. That's when I saw it. A dilapidated, ramshackle house looming ahead. It was a twisted, nightmarish version of a home, its windows shattered and its walls sagging under the weight of time. Despite my better judgment, I parked the car and cautiously approached the house. The air grew colder still, and the silence deepened, as if the very forest held its breath in anticipation. Inside the house, the darkness was even more suffocating, and the floorboards creaked ominously underfoot. Shadows danced on the walls, their forms shifting and contorting in unsettling ways. The air was thick with a musty, oppressive scent that made my stomach churn. As I explored the house, I came across a series of rooms, each more disturbing than the last. In one, I found a collection of tattered, moth-eaten dolls, their lifeless eyes staring into nothingness. In another, a faded photograph of a family that seemed frozen in time, their expressions twisted in agony. But it was the final room that filled me with a primal terror, a room bathed in a sickly crimson light. At its center stood a grotesque, malformed figure, its back hunched and its limbs contorted. It was a nightmarish effigy, a grotesque mockery of humanity. I stumbled backward, my heart pounding in my chest, and fled the house in a blind panic. The forest outside seemed to have come alive, its twisted trees and writhing shadows closing in around me. The air was heavy with the stench of decay, and a sense of malevolence hung in the air. I ran through the suffocating darkness, my breath coming in ragged gasps. But no matter how fast or how far I ran, I couldn't escape the nightmarish landscape that surrounded me. The forest seemed to stretch on forever, its twisted, contorted forms closing in around me. And then, just when I thought I could go no further, I saw it. A faint glimmer of light in the distance. With renewed hope, I stumbled toward it, my legs like lead. As I drew closer, I realized it was a clearing, bathed in the silvery light of the moon. But my relief was short-lived. In the center of the clearing stood a towering, gnarled tree, its branches stretching out like skeletal fingers, and hanging from those branches were the lifeless bodies of countless others who had ventured into this nightmarish labyrinth. The sight was too much to bear, and a scream tore itself from my throat. The forest seemed to close in around me, the shadows closing in like a vice. I knew then that I would never escape this twisted, nightmarish place, and as the darkness swallowed me whole, I couldn't help but wonder if I had stumbled upon a realm where nightmares became reality, a place where the wrong turn had led me into an eternal labyrinth of horror.